We usually hear Jeremiah 29:11 at high-stakes crossroads, graduation stages, wedding altars, or the first page of a new journal. It's presented as a cheerful guarantee that God has a specific, prosperous plan for our immediate success. The actual letter is a survival guide, written for a population that had just watched their entire world burn to the ground. Understanding these words requires us to look past the modern platitudes and move back to the darkest year in the history of ancient Israel. True hope is impossible to grasp until we first confront the devastating reality that made it necessary. In 597 BC, the Babylonian Empire didn't just defeat Jerusalem, they shattered its physical foundations. The invasion concluded with a forced march. The city's scholars, craftsmen, and leaders were stripped from their homes and deported hundreds of miles into enemy territory. This wasn't a temporary relocation, it was a total psychological vacuum. They had lost their homes, their national identity, and the comforting belief that they were untouchable. In the middle of this trauma, false prophets were peddling a quick fix. Men like Hananiah were promising that the exile would be over in just 2 years, a timeline that allowed people to avoid facing their new reality. This kind of toxic positivity only deepens the wounds of people sitting in the ruins. It offers a shallow hope that eventually collapses when the rescue doesn't arrive on schedule. Jeremiah's letter arrived at the captives' feet while they were still dwarfed by the massive walls of Babylon. His message was the exact opposite of what the people wanted to hear. He told them to stop looking for the exit. He announced that the exile would last 70 years, long enough for an entire generation to grow old and die in a foreign land. His specific commands were shocking: build permanent houses, and plant gardens, and have children. He was telling them to become agents of creation in the very place that felt like a landscape of death. Most radically, he commanded them to seek the shalom, the wholeness and peace of Babylon itself. He wanted them to pray for the welfare of the empire that had enslaved them. God's plan required the exiles to stop acting like victims waiting for a rescue and start acting like participants in the restoration of the land where they were currently standing. Only after those brutal instructions do we reach the famous promise, "For I know the plans I have for you." The grammar here is incredibly bold. "I know" is an active present tense statement. It means that even while the exiles were sitting in the dust of a broken city, God's awareness of the design was currently active. The plan to prosper them wasn't waiting for them back in Jerusalem. It was happening in the present moment, through the very act of planting those gardens and seeking peace in the dark. When he says the plan is not to harm you, he's reframing their suffering. This 70-year sentence was a process of internal restructuring, stripping away their old dependencies to teach them how to seek the well-being of others. This proves that unbreakable hope is the realization that a deliberate design is functioning, even when the environment feels like total chaos. We are not ancient captives in a foreign empire, but the experience of having your world fall apart is a universal human trauma. There is a specific kind of internal exile that happens when a marriage collapses, a career path vanishes, or a health crisis erases the version of the future you had counted on. The hardest psychological hurdle is trusting that the absolute collapse of your own plan is a necessary stage of a larger design. What feels like a definitive ending is often a redirection toward a future that you simply could not have reached any other way. Look at the specific area in your own life right now that feels like a total, unredeemable loss. What would it mean for you if this devastation is not the end of your story? The plan for your restoration may be active and moving right now, merely obscured by the dust and the rubble of your current vantage point. Hitting the absolute bottom is often the only way to finally discover what is truly solid underneath you. Hope reaches into the ruins as a quiet invitation to trust a process you cannot yet see.